Hi everyone, today I want to talk to you about timecode, and this is something that I use a lot because I often shoot with two cameras or more because I do events and things like that, conferences, graduations, performances. And although I could use audio to synchronize, so some of you may have done that, editing software can do that, you are really relying on getting at least some kind of decent audio. And if the audio is not very good from one camera, it might not synchronize together, or it might struggle. And from time to time, I find that audio doesn't always synchronize very well. Now, cameras like this C70 here and my R5 C, which is here, they have timecode built into them, and they've got a timecode terminal that allows me to connect them together or use a device like this Ultrasync One. There are others, Tentacle, Deity, and others. This is a timecode generator and can connect into here, and you can have these a number of them connected wirelessly, connecting in, or you can just use one and take it from one camera to another. But more about that in a moment. Because the other thing I find is sometimes if I'm shooting, say, something that's a long video, let's say it's a conference or a performance, and someone is just using a gimbal to get short little clips here and there, then the audio might not always be reliable. But it also, having a tiny little clip and trying to match it within a big audio clip might not work. And I do this using Premiere Pro, and I also use Final Cut Pro as well. You can do this on other editing software as well. So I'm going to show you how I do that. But right now, I'm just going to show you, here is an example of one. And I'm showing it to you here on Premiere Pro, but I'm going to show you afterwards as well in Final Cut Pro. And we had, well, 6 cameras actually, but I'm just showing 4 here because these were key ones. It was a graduation. And I wanted to show, and you can see it here in this corner here, this one, camera 4, was where the graduates would be waiting. Let's get one with a graduate in there. It might take a moment to catch up. And there we go. We've got someone in there. And they would then walk across, and then we would catch them coming across the stage and then shaking hands with the dean here. And also there is someone here reading out the names. And we wanted those perfectly in sync. So what I can do then is I can just choose each camera as it plays, and I can press 1, 2, 3, or 4 in this example, or I can just click on them here. But using the keyboard for this is a really quick way to edit. So this graduation ceremony was 2.5 hours, and I could just watch it and press each one. And I'll do a video about editing and setting up multi-camera as well. So there was another thing here. So we used C70s for this because we had those, and I used the R5 C as well, so we could connect them all together. And I took this little Ultrasync, and there is a timecode terminal just here, and it's on the front, and we just quickly plug this in. I'm going to show you setting up that in, and it really just needed to go in for a moment. I'm going to show you the settings here. I'm going to use the R5 C to do that, and it is the same here. Now, when you sync them together, whether you join it by a cable or use something like this, according to Canon, it will stay in sync for up to 4 hours. And other cameras have this as well. So you're looking at things that are more like video focused as opposed to something like an R5 that doesn't have time code, and others as well like the Sonys. But they're cinema, if you like, or camcorders. Many of them have that in there, and it's becoming more and more prevalent. So I can do that, can run around. Now, one of the cameras, we used a Canon EOS C200. That doesn't have timecode in it. But I do have a Ninja 5, and I have the Connect module on it. That's wireless. It will receive wireless timecode from this Ultrasync One. That's the reason I got the Ultrasync One. There were other options, as I said, Tentacle and Deity as well, all very good, and I've used them. But this does it wirelessly. So what I can do, I'm just going to switch this on, and then I'm just going to set my time code here, and I'm going to set it to, let's just say 11 o'clock. And you can put in the hours, the minutes, the seconds, and the number of frames, and you tell it whether what time base you're working on, like 25 frames per second, 30, and so on. And then I've got it here, and you can see I've got these together, and when I set it, boom, you can see it's now synchronized it together. The great thing is I can take this, I've got a bit of Velcro there, so that can stick on the side. If I was to plug this in here to my camera, then that would synchronize as well, because I've set it to use an external timecode source, so that would be it. So let me just show you here on the Ninja. It does use, you do need to go into the sync config to make sure this is set up. So you need the air glue, that's what it's called, this nice little transmission system. Join network, mine is set to channel 7, which is something selected on the Atomos here, on the Ultrasync, and so on. And that is what keeps it in check. So that is really great. Now, the other thing I do is I sometimes just connect these together like this. So let's just leave that there. So on a lot of cameras that have this, many professional cameras, they will have a cable, coax cable with B and C connectors here. And just like I did a moment ago, I can put this, I'm going to show you all these cables. I'm going to put these on my site. I'm going to put these in the description so you can find them. By the way, when we used a Sony FX3 recently, we had to use this connector. This is a different one, and it has, I've got these adapters that connect these B and Cs together, if it will come out. So I get a load of these. I got these on Amazon, and so I will share those with you as well. So here, if I want to synchronize my R5 C with my C70, I can just join these together. Now, the R5 C, because it's a smaller form factor, it has a different timecode terminal here. This is the DIN 1.0/2.3 to BNC connector, and I got this from, again, off of Amazon, someone called Alvin's Cables. Been using them quite a bit. And that will just connect into here. So what I need to do here is tell it whether it's going to take the timecode in or whether it's going to do the timecode out. So the one that's timecode out is the master. And I tend to make my R5C the master, just because I can easily run around with it, and if I've got other cameras, connect those together. So what I do is I go into the menu, and you can see here, I've gone to the spanner one here, the settings, and I'm going to go to tab number 3. What you need to do, whatever camera it is, and this was the same with the Sony, we had to set it to free run. So we don't want rec run, we want free run, so that it's going all the time. Then I want the set time code. I can put it into here, and I can make it whatever I want. So let's go back to, let's make it 11. Let's make it 11:27 just for ease of use. I hit set, and this will then come up at the top of the screen. Now the time code in and out, at the moment it would be taking a feed in, but I want to use it as a master, so I would set it to out. Okay, let's just see what happens when it's set to in. Let's come out of the menu there, and let's just take a look at the top, and you can see it's showing me there that it's 11, 27, 28, 29, and there's an F next to it, which stands for free run. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my Ultrasync One, and as I said, this could be any of them. This is showing me 11:05. Now watch what happens the moment I connect it. See, if you look at the top there, as soon as I connect, it has changed to 11:05, and it says E for external. Now, if I disconnect it, it goes to F for free run, and it stays the same. You can see my battery is very low here, 1 minute left. So got that just in time. So that is what you can do to synchronize them all together. And that is just really easy to do. Now, as I said, you could get more than one of these, And by the way, there's other devices as well, audio recorders. I've seen that Zoom have got this as well for some of their things. Sometimes you need an extra module to get that working. But this is great. And you could have a whole load of these. So if you've got multiple cameras and you're not going to have time to go and plug this in during the day, then you could get more of these. But if you're looking to save money, you could just go and, well, just not be carrying things around like you need to. You could just go and plug this in, move to the next camera, the next camera, next camera. I always put them there. And if someone's with me, we kind of both read out, you know, that it's 26, 27, 28, and we're checking it on the two different devices to make sure. Now, once you've done all of that, when you import it into, I'm going to use Premiere Pro and Final Cut Pro here quickly to show you, you can then just easily just synchronize them together. So if I just go back to here, only one of the cameras had really good sound coming in, which was coming from the sound desk. So I've got that. I'm going to select the others. So I'm on a Mac, so I'm using the Command button. But if you're using Windows, you could use, I think it's Control to do that. So if I right click now, go to Create Multi-Camera Source Sequence, I'm going to call it New Multicam. And you'll see here that the option is Timecode, as opposed to this one here using the audio track channel. So with that Timecode, if I click OK, it's done it straight away. If I double click there they all are. All done. Sorry, it's the computer just catching up. There's media pending. It will do in a minute. And if I move across, I can promise you that they are all brilliantly in sync. Now, for me, this is a massive time saver. I record a lot of conferences. And actually, if I'm doing conferences, I sometimes use the Ninja to plug in to get the PowerPoints as well. And then I can quickly synchronize those up, which is just really handy. So I think this is a great idea, and I'll probably do some more videos on that as well. Let's just have a quick look at Final Cut Pro. I believe DaVinci Resolve does this as well. I'm not sure if you've got to pay extra for that, but I've just been using Final Cut Pro and Premiere Pro for years, and Final Cut, I think, did this before Premiere did, and it was a game changer for me. So let me just open Final Cut Pro and just give a moment for that. I've already imported in both of these the videos in there, and you can see them here. And again, I just select them. Let's just go and select these. Again, a right click, new multicam clip. You can see I already had one there. So let's call this new multicam again, and boom, it's done. I haven't got enough disk space on here to modify it, but there you go. And you can see it's got angle 1. I can go into view here, show me the angles, and I have had a lot of angles in this. I was once messing around and did like a music video, and I had a few cameras doing each run through, and they had to be synchronized with audio. I didn't have cameras with timecode then. This is quite a few years ago, and I certainly didn't have this Ultrasync One, which has been a new addition this year, which has saved me a lot of time as well. By the way, charges up using USB-C. So as I said, I'm going to put links to all of those at the bottom, but I kind of simulated having 19 cameras, which was a bit of a juggle then. But for both Premiere and also Final Cut Pro, what I can do is I can just play it. Let's just add this into a new project. I'm not going to worry about a name. Drag and drop this in here. And when I play, I don't want the audio coming through, I basically can just switch cameras by pressing on the keyboards here. And if I make a mistake, I can then use a rolling edit tool to go and fine tune those after. But I think you can see this is a real time saver here to be able to do that. And hopefully more things will have timecode in it. Sometimes I end up filming things with my iPhone as well, extra little clips on the side, bits of B-roll, or you might call it cutaways. And I don't really need it so synced up, but it is useful as well. So that's how you do it. That's what timecode can do for you. I have seen that the new DJI Mic 3 has got timecode in it, and I want to get my hands on that so that I can use this. I can take an output from here into there. Again, I've got a different cable for that because it uses a 3.5mm jack rather than the BNC. And I can then even take it from here if I needed to, from one of these cameras. So really useful. I want to get my hands, as I said, on that. And there's a few things I want to check out on that DJI mic as well. So the great thing about those mics is that they record internally as well. So you've got a good backup there. But I do like the idea of this Ninja. This is the Ninja 5. There is a new one, Ninja TX, which has all of this built in. So I don't need to get like a Connect module for this to get it. So I could have other cameras. I don't have to think, wow, is this going to use timecode? It's more convenient to have it built in, but I can do it on the Ninja as well. So I might look at getting one of those Ninja TXs as well. The other thing it does, which I rarely record in, is 8K. The Ninja 5 doesn't do 8K. I think that's something that I might do once in a while. Putting this on top of the gimbal as well might also be a little bit on the, more cumbersome side. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. I'm going to do more about using these things on timecode. And I'm going to do a multi-camera setup so you can see how I set it up, how I use cameras that have timecode, and even one that, say, doesn't, and how I can use the Ninja to connect those together. Thanks for watching. If you do like this, please do like, share, and subscribe, and come back for more.